So, Joe, I believe you were a fan of the video game before getting involved, way before getting involved.
I was, sure. So much of my childhood was spent in arcades at malls when growing up, and I don't know how much money I pumped into Rampage machines. So this is justice for me to finally be getting some of those quarters back in the form of a paycheck from Warner Brothers.
And you do it in a really cool scene because you play a very tough and confident mercenary, right? What kind of a man is he?
Well, there was a scene that actually was cut from the film that Brad has said he'll let me premiere on my social media channels. That said it all for my character. We're investigating what happened to this mutagen, and we find a pack of dead wolves on this, basically a farm. And this rancher shows up in his truck and starts telling me to get off of his property, and he snaps his shotgun closed in front of me, and I blast this guy right in the face. And that told me everything I needed to know about my character. Now, that scene didn't wind up in the film, but I'd like to think that through line, he's a guy who, he's going to get the job done, so don't get in his way.
And you played similar characters before. I mean, you had input into this character, right? And you enjoyed bringing him together with Brad.
Yeah, I love Brad. Brad's like big, crazy ideas. Brad's this swing for the fences kind of guy, which I love. Let's go big or go home. And that's Brad's motto. And then my job is to then take that and make that grounded and real and believable in this fictitious situation. So our styles merge together perfectly.
What is your character's mission?
What's my character's mission? My character's mission, he's getting paid to do cleanup for this pharmaceutical company that has something go wrong with one of their chemicals. And so it's really it's a reconnaissance mission to go and find where the canister landed. Then that shifts into understanding that there might have been something that went wrong with a wolf because of this chemical. So then to hunt down that wolf, subdue it, and then bring it back. But then the mission shifts because all my men get killed. So then it's about just getting the hell out of there.
It's a truly spectacular scene. And it kind of sets the tone and the energy for the rest of the movie. What was it like to shoot?
It was a blast. The guys I got to work with were awesome. Matt Gerald and Bruce Blackshear and of course Uriah Faber, the Hall of Fame UFC fighter. It was just a great group of guys out there in the woods. Anytime you can get a group of guys together and go out and fire some guns and reminisce of the days when we were little kids in the backyard with our stick, hunting some giant monster, and we're actually doing it for a film it was just so much fun. But also the fact is that there are people out there who are lifelong friends of mine who do this or did that for a living. We're active military or retired military, and so out of respect to them, you want to make sure that tactically you're on point, and that this isn't going to wind up being one of those films that those guys complain about. So there's it's fun, it's big, there's giant monsters, but there's also a real component that you have to take care of as an actor.
I believe they were chasing you around with motorcycles. The fact that you were moving so much, did that make it easier to get into the believability of the wolf and what was going on?
Sure. I think the best way to the fact that the monsters were imaginary. And I didn't have to just stand there and stare at them. Well, there are moments when I am looking in awe at this giant wolf. But the rest of the times you're in action, you're moving. So when you're running, shooting, hiding, diving, these are things that make it easier having an invisible monster. Because, what's the best way to pretend you're afraid? Like, just get into action. Just get into, as soon as you're running, run as fast as you can, and the monster it'll just appear.
You make it seem easy, but it actually isn't. What do you enjoy about shooting action?
About shooting action? I think it's, I come from a classical theater background, so anytime I can mix athleticism in a three-dimensional space in with what I'm doing at work is a really fun day. You can't really do the types of things that I did in this film on stage. There's no stage big enough for me to run with a giant monster chasing me unless you like installed treadmills on the floor or something, which actually might be kind of cool. But you know, this is working on Rampage reminded me of every reason why I got into film in the first place. You know, running around in 3 dimensions, you know, chasing down giant monsters, being chased by giant monsters. It's all of the things that you can't do in theater. So it's exactly why I love film and love acting and action film specifically.
And is it true that both Brad and you are huge nerds?
Yeah, we're big nerds. We nerded out, and that's actually how we became friends and how I got offered this role. We're just huge. We were huge Dungeons and Dragons players growing up, and we were both pursuing the project when it was at Warner Brothers. So that's how we met, and that's how I got offered this role.
He's such a visionary. What is he like on set?
Brad on set. Brad's got everything figured out ahead of time. He's got his previs done. He's very big on preparation. So all the scenes are drawn in, I guess, like primitive style cartoons. So you can watch what Brad had in his head about the scene and how he visualized the shots. He'll sometimes even cut little models of helicopters out of paper and have paper monsters with paper terrain, and will show you how he imagines the shot and the camera moves. You know, Brad comes in, he's got a lot of ideas, which is great. And then I come in, I'm also, I'm a big research whore. So I'm big on preparation and research as well. So, but I love that Brad has all of those ideas, and it's then my job to merge his ideas with all of the technical work that I've done and the character work that I've done, and find that strong place in the middle.
And you have to play with your imagination too. At the end of the day, you're running away from something that's really not there.
Mm-hmm.
That's where your acting and your theater maybe truly comes into.
Sure, but if you throw yourself into running away from something scary, it'll look scary. I mean, it's like, I'm sure you could ask Dwayne in professional wrestling. What sells the hit? The guy throwing the punch or the guy reacting to the punch? It's the guy reacting to the punch. If you react to that punch and, you know, it's this big knockout punch, it's going to sell to the audience. And so it's the same thing with me. Like, I'm selling their monster. That's my job. My job is to have the audience feel the fear that I fear as I'm running away from this thing. It's just, but in actuality, it's just not there.
So then when you finally saw it there, when you saw the movie completed,
Yeah.
what did you think?
That was great. I was amazed. I think the effects are incredible. I think what Brad did in combination with Weta was amazing. I mean, that gorilla is incredible. The wolf was amazing. The alligator was incredible. All the effects are just absolutely stunning, and I was really happy. I mean, that moment where you see the wolf jump out and smash the helicopter, it's incredible. And it's really the first time you get a big full glimpse of the monster in the film, and it's just, you could hear a pin drop in that theater.
So if someone asked you, Joe, what's that new movie Rampage you're in? How would you explain it? And what could you tell them that they can expect from it?
It's a big, fun summer movie about giant monsters destroying the planet and us trying to stop it.